week, that means there's only like 2 people that listen to WVON, or 1.5 people that have one of these.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
Because you know the listeners are out there. But it just means that those people that have one of these that are participating.
So do they question the people who listen to whatever to find out why they listen?
Well, there's a short survey. Okay, people actually get paid anywhere from $250 a month. Sometimes whole families will get them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they're very interactive. Say, for example, if you're not taking it to work with you and it sits idle, it's got like a
Tomorrow we rest, and then we keep fighting through to November. Let's go.
And it turned in. Why didn't you put it on the port at night to download the data? They start harassing you. They threaten to take that money away.
Mm-hmm. Todd.
What?
Nothing.
You all right?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm actually like,
You having fun this week?
I'm
Honestly?
actually, I
Yeah.
wasn't,
Oh, wait.
I wasn't cussing in the morning.
Good.
I wasn't cussing like, oh shit, I gotta get up.
You know,
Getting up now.
did you see the moon this morning?
No.
It was like a really
It was-
tiny crescent, real
Oh,
tiny. It was a real,
like
yeah.
one of those Muslim slips.
Yes, it was kind of like that,
Crescent.
and it was weird because it was kind of in the eastern sky. So I know the sun's gonna come up and the moon. Did you see the moon this morning? The little crescent that it was.
No.
Man, I wish I would have seen it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Stan McKee, the first guy to play with a curved stick.
Yeah.
First Black Hawk to wear a helmet.
That's wow. Because they wouldn't wear them.
Oh.
Stan Makita.
Todd, I'd like to schedule some time with you, me, Sonia, in the next week or so, please. That would be greatly appreciated.
When do you want to do it, Mace?
I don't know. Maybe we do it at 8 o'clock. I mean, like
8:30?
8:30 on next Wednesday.
Okay. Man, I drove by something really cool yesterday, and I said that would be fun to do with Maze. Yeah, right. Okay. I'm driving down I-80 yesterday because I just wanted to avoid traffic, so I took 57, 80, 355 home. And on I-80, there's this giant warehouse indoor speedway.
Oh, I would love to do that. That would be
It's
fun.
like one of the bigger ones that I've ever seen, at least from the outside of the building, and it looks really cool. It was on like I-80, somewhere around Harlem, between Harlem and LaGrange Road, somewhere in there, on the south side of I-80. And I was like, wow, that looks like fun. And the outdoors, the go-karts look like
Race cars.
like Indy cars, yeah. And the painting head, you get to wear a suit and a helmet.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that would be fun to do. We were in Cincinnati, and when I was leaving, I realized that they had it's almost like a professional, it's like almost like a mini Indy 500
Right,
type
I've seen
deal.
the ones up in Barrington. It's kind of fun and cool. They have a bar and stuff that you get to go to afterwards. But I'm like, the fumes that would drive me nuts. I don't think I can party in drink in an atmosphere. But I'm gonna check that out again and get the name of it.
Have you ever done whirly ball?
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was really good with trackball. As a matter of fact, trackball
I want to play tetherball. I have not. I would love to just get in a good game. I really would love for us to do a kickball team.
like a kickball.
They have the sport league, huh?
Dodgeball.
Nah, you know what? I can't get a good whip on a dodgeball, but I love.
Because you know what? It's that you gotta have a huge hand. You gotta have.
I could never get the. Yeah, I wasn't a big.
And you gotta get the slightly deflated ball to really whip it.
Yeah, you're right.
But I about 4 or 5 years ago, a group of friends, we were going to go camping, and I went to the Meijer and I saw the trackball. And I'm like, oh, the same thing that you use for whirly ball. And I'm like, I bought this. We played them as kids. You know, yeah.
Like
you
a
can make
fake
you can
highlight.
go up and down,
Yep.
do the curves and stuff. I was like, this is great.
What's up, people? How y'all feeling today? I'm in a blah mood. I'm just not. So, just know that today will be not Mr. Mays on 5 million. How about that? Obviously, at showtime, I will do the show. But I am not on 100 today. However, I will deliver to you the best product possible. Because after all, I do this, man. What up, DB Digby? What up, Big Brother Kang, Mufasa Red? To the Commissioner, Kerry Steele, Edward Muhammad, Felicia Gatewood. What up, Ronald Albert Nethery, Dewan Russell? What up, Pookie Brown? What up, Melvin D. Griffin? How y'all feeling this morning?
He'll be on at 6:35.
Who?
Ford.
Okay. Yeah, he saw himself tagged in that post.
No, he was asleep.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was dead asleep.
Wake up.
He was dead asleep.
Spread that money around, CPS. I love it.
All right.
This city ain't shit.
Okay, how about this? Let's do this. What's up to everybody that's on YouTube as well? Let's try and go up a level. Get on my level. Yep, get on my level. Hey, Carolyn. Sonia Escobar, Eddie Johnson. Eddie Jones, not Johnson. What's up, Eddie? Hey, Wilson Coleman, Darlene Kennard. Oh, we good, man. I ain't tripping. I'm not, I don't got no issues. I'm just not on 10 today. You did? Hey, Tasha Smiley Vacations. How are you? You know, people be human sometimes. Rebranding of the Lion's Den. I need an intro, y'all. I'm gonna have to come up off of Wake Up Everybody for the fall. It'll be in there somewhere. Wake up, everybody. Hey, Lisa Bilbro. Want to encourage you all. Tune in, check out Uncomfortable Conversations, myself and Joe Walsh. Every Saturday coming to a community near you. Bolingbrook is first. That's right, Bolingbrook, we're coming September 8th. We'll be at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Uncomfortable Conversations, black and white. You ready? Maze Jackson, Joe Walsh, conservative and I don't know what you call me, black. What's up, Kimberly Patton? What's up, Dr. Darlene? What up, Maurice? Now, if you want one of those to come to your side of town, you got to sponsor it. You got to bring it together. We are looking for sponsors, so if you're interested in sponsoring, don't hesitate. What up, Ian? What up, Young Tiger? What up, Alvin? What's up to everybody on YouTube? What up, TT Aaron X? We'll work it into the new intro, but we're going to have another intro. I see y'all on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that's rocking it. Tell your friends to subscribe on YouTube. Trying to get to 1,000. I see you got 14. The only thing we have to do is put it in our mind. We just let it be. Na 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 na. The world won't get no better. Good morning, Chicago. Good morning, world. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and sitting in with me all week, there she is, Miss, excuse me, I said Miss. That's attorney Kimberly Agoin JD. Kimberly, how you feeling this morning?
I'm doing great, Maze, and good morning, WVON family.
All right, I see you, Kim. I see you got your bright pink on.
Yeah.
I see you got it bright in the studio. Are you repping for your sorority today? I know you're AKA, right?
Yeah,
right?
You know what? I'm not even repping for the sorority. I tend to pick pink clothes maybe because of that. But this shirt says "Love Chicago" because I'm hurt. Chicago's hurting. I'm crying for Chicago.
Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Man, did you see that? You know what? Let's not even talk about that press conference until after we say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. Now, y'all, check this out. If you are wondering what I'm talking about, you can check us out on Facebook Live or on YouTube Live. Go to the WVON Facebook page. That's WVON on Facebook. Or you can go to the Maze Jackson page on Facebook as well or YouTube. Now, gotta say what's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. Annette, how you doing today? You know, this city is crazy. And I said we got to get the plane off the ground. So look, let me not be the talkative pilot. You know how you on Southwest and the pilot tell too many jokes and you be like, you funny. I'd rather you be telling these jokes in the air. Let me do this. Let me move on and say what's up to Miss Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Miss Escobar, how are you feeling this morning? Sonia, let's get this plane in the air, and then we're going to have this conversation. Look, this is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Kimberly are going sitting in with me all day. Look, y'all, I want y'all to give us a call because we got a lot to talk about today. So get your pens and your papers out. Write this down because we need you to, we're going to be calling in. We got a lot to talk about. 773-336-3458. 773-336-3458. You can call in and let us know what you're thinking. But Kim, I gotta tell you, I watched the press conference. I try to take me a little snooze after I get my work done, and I was awakened by an alert on Facebook Live saying that there was a press conference. So, and I saw this press conference, and at the front of it, I saw Superintendent Eddie Johnson, and I saw Mayor Emanuel. Now, I think I saw Alderman Brookins, Alderman Harris. I saw Alderman Burke. Alderman Burke must be having some real problems.
Yeah,
because
for
some black stuff. He must be having some real issues. He must be trying. Chewy must got him there. That's different.
That's his first one in like 40 years.
Right, especially on the black side or the south side.
Right.
But anyway. But Kim, I'm gonna tell you. So you probably somebody gonna yell at me, and y'all gonna tell y'all. I still like Eddie Johnson. I do. Now there's a reason. Now I can't. He is one of my frat brothers.
He's your frat.
So I got to show him some love on that. I go to chapter meeting, bros be like, you better get up off the frat. But take that out. I used to think he was a cop's cop, but also understood because I knew people that used to tell me how, he'd be like, hey, man, this could have been down this path or this path, and he helped me get. So I got some affinity. I want to be clear with the WVON audience. And I felt like he was having a conversation with black people. Like I felt like he was listening to the WVON morning show and was trying to have sort of the conversation that we was having it. But then the mayor, it seemed like the mayor may have been listening to the show too. And then he tried to say some of the same stuff that black people talk about. And I was just completely offended by the time he got through talking. What did you take from it?
I have no affinity for Eddie Johnson. He's not my frat. Even if he were, I am not impressed with his performance. Okay. So that's number one.
Okay. That's fair.
And when he was calling people prostitutes, so it was okay that they got killed, that type of deal.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You know later, but you know what? No, that was bogus, and so no, I don't mess with.
Sort of like skeezers in training.
That's right. I don't mess with him. Don't mess with him. But I will say this: perhaps your mayor jumped in because Eddie Johnson finally acknowledged what we've talked about for the last 2 days. When he said he's going to deploy the new police officers in these communities, so now we're going to be infiltrated. 400, almost 500 police officers that are, by all accounts, untrained, because they haven't been trained according to the new police.
They say they trained to shoot. Shoot the black people.
Right, so we're going to be all running from everybody, or innocent and criminals, running from the police officers. He said, and I quote, "We'll go as long as it takes to get things under control." And if you have to say you got to get things under control, man, what does that mean? You
know what, Kim? See, that's that. See how you did that right there? See how you did that? That means the city that you out of control.
Out of control. And the mayor cannot look like he does not have things, even though they're out of control.
Kim.
He just admitted it.
I got a good friend that says, he always says, the emperor has no clothes. It's like the mayor gets up on TV, and I just was completely offended by the time I got through. And can I ask a question? Didn't we just hear about Leon Finney on the show Monday?
Dancing?
No, about him in the role with the Stones and the whole and the right.
Yeah.
And then wasn't he up there telling us that the good Reverend Dr. Forrest We Shall Overcome Claypool was a good man? Why was he on the stage yesterday at the press conference? See, the man got a problem and he don't even understand he got. Look, it's Talk Chicago 1690. We'll be back after traffic and the weather. What's up, y'all? Take a moment to share the broadcast. See, we have to have contrasting points of view. So I like Eddie Johnson. He my frat brothers. Y'all could be mad if y'all want to, but it's just like y'all don't like Ken Duncan either, right? He my frat brother too. But when he wrong, y'all know I call him out, but I'm trying to give you my equitable, I'm trying to be fair there, right? Plus give y'all some red meat to chop up. How y'all feeling this morning? Yeah, I'm not like on 10 today. I think I'm about a 5. But I will perform. I want to encourage you all. Check us out. Maze Jackson, Joe Walsh, Black and White, Uncomfortable Conversations. Now check it out. Saturday, September 8th, we will be in Bolingbrook at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Saturday, September 15th, the American Legion Hall. And guess where? Wakanda. Not that Wakanda, but we'll be in Wakanda. Then we'll be at Project Hood Leadership and Economic Opportunity Center on Saturday, September 22nd. And finally, September 29th, we'll be at the Golfton Community Center in where else but Lake Forest, Illinois. We are taking this conversation so I hope you all will come out and check that out. When you share the broadcast, hey, and to Juan and Roberto talk about what about the brown people? When last time y'all asked that at y'all meetings? Y'all don't be saying at the brown and white meetings, y'all don't be like, what about the black people? Maybe you do, Roberto. Hey, y'all, take a moment, share the broadcast. What's up, Nadine Kirkendall, all the way from Cincinnati? From the Natty? What's up? What's up, Tiger Lily? What up, Diane Scat? Scott, Big Brother Kang. What's up, Tom Tuzak? What's going on, y'all? Hey, y'all, and then check it out. We got a lot of new people that are joining us that will be joining the debate. A lot of them will probably not have the same viewpoints as us. What I would ask is that, right? Here's what I'd ask, and it's part of why we're doing black and white. I would ask that we have healthy debate and you can disagree all day long. What I would ask that you do is respectfully debate, right? Strong opinions, have no problem with. I don't want no name calling, no your mamas, none of that, but have at it. That is the reason, like we are in such a sanitized world that we cannot have real conversations that allow us to overcome our differences. Let me tell you that I believe that if you talk to the poorest white dude at the bottom of the state and the poorest black dude at the top of the state, they're gonna care about the same things. They're gonna wanna make sure that they got a house for their kids, they can pay for their bills, they can pay for their car, have a little extra money left over, maybe take a vacation. People want basics. And all I'm suggesting is that we don't have to have that. We can disagree, but we can agree. I want to send a shout out to all of the Walsh Warriors who, check this out, who were at Project Hood on Saturday. Now, y'all may make fun of Corey, but what he does is control the stuff on his block. And because he can't spread it out to everywhere, he's working on his block. Yes, I saw the video, and I know that everybody is always going to have something to say. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to the resources that get poured into 63rd and King Drive,
That's right.
Man, you can't front. You cannot front. And he ain't taking no government money. Now, I'm not defending Corey from the standpoint of his politics, because y'all gonna take it on the rounder thing, but on the fact of bringing resources back. Now, I still think the resources that are coming through the Republican Party shouldn't have to go through a church, but the fact of the matter is, Corey was one of the only few people who took the risk. We'll talk about that a little later. Oh, damn. I just don't abandon my friends. And there was a lot of white people from the suburbs out there volunteering, packing bags. Can't help the way that I feel.
They went home with Kirsty.
Do, 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 do. Baby, you make my love come down. Girl, you make my love come down. All the way down. Oh, you make my love come down. Come down. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago. 1690. Kim, why you over there dancing in your chair? Kim, I didn't even know you got down like that. What you doing?
I do. You know, that's a classic.
That is a classic.
That's a classic. She's jamming with these songs this week. So.
All right, you know what? It is. We are rocking right now. This is the WVON Morning Show. Kim, we're going to talk about this mayor stuff some more a little bit later, but I got to touch on a couple other headlines. First of all, you know, like, you ever heard somebody say, you ever heard the term, you need to get you some business?
Yeah.
I think Lisa Madigan need to get her some business. Do you hear that she is now suggesting that she has now put Willie Wilson under investigation for giving away his own money? A fact that a thing that he has done for years and years. Now, I told y'all this was not, in my estimation, a smart political move. But I'm going to tell you, I think that you look foolish in the eyes of people, average, everyday citizens who are lining up to get those checks. And I'm just curious as to, you know, I was upset to find out, like, when I saw that somebody signed a paper to call the feds to investigate Willie Will. The feds
Right.
said they wanted a Class X felony, and now Lisa Madigan is jumping on this. It's like Lisa Madigan's gonna lose her black street cred doing stuff like this.
Well, I mean, she isn't running for anything, so I guess she doesn't care at this point.
She gonna show y'all what she really think about y'all.
Well, I don't know. I know that you wouldn't have even the beginnings of a consent decree if she didn't come in and try and do that. She had to force the mayor and Eddie Johnson to even do that. So I'm gonna give her props for that.
Okay.
But this doesn't make any sense. This is ridiculous. He is giving out his own money, and there are far larger amounts of money being given every day to people of a different income level.
From the government's money.
From the government, but also, you know, they spread it around. They spread it around here in Chicago and in the state, and there haven't been any investigations on any of that. So he just looks like someone easy. When you have all of these aldermen signing on this sheet of paper talking about investigating him, this just seems to be like an easy give to someone. I don't know who, but it's an easy give to someone.
You know what I would wonder? If Kwame was the Attorney General, I would ask right now, what does our black Attorney General nominee think about this? Like, I mean, I feel like she could turn. This is one of those things where she wasn't thinking. Cause if I was Willie Wilson, I'd be like, well, what? Senator Kwame Rule, what you gonna do? That's what I'd say. That's what I'd be like, Senator. I mean, what you gonna do when this is over? Cause this is criminal. It's criminal.
That's your Willie Wilson.
I'm trying. I'm working.
Okay.
I'm working on it. Okay. Hey, but you know what? I don't think this is a smart move. I think that it just shows one more time how the Democratic Party attacks black people or has a lack of respect for us. Like, if a billionaire somebody else was walking around giving their money and Bill Gates was doing it, we'd be like, oh, Bill Gates is the... And I know you're running for mayor, but Willie Wilson been doing this thing for a minute.
But they give their money other ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
$5 or $100 to poor people. They spread the contracts around and make the introductions like the mayor did when he took all those people to China.
Or that, and I'm still tripping on this whole when the mayor took all those people to China, he had them up in the air away from their phones, and they cut all the deals, and then they landed. Right. And they talked to the Chinese, then they got back in the air. They said, we cut these deals. Now when I'm the mayor again, right. You get all these.
When I'm the mayor again.
Exactamundo. Yes. And then let me tell you, I was talking about this yesterday, and about 10 people called me. Remember how I told you about Jamie Reed having her first fundraiser at the Latino Caucus
I saw that
event?
Yeah.
I told you, keynote speaker. Now, it's a nonprofit and it's for scholarships, but I'm going to tell you.
But Jamie Reed, who is now the aviation
chief,
but she was the procurement chief for the city of Chicago.
$8.5 billion project. So let me tell you, having that Jamie Reed over at doing this Latino Caucus fundraiser signals that the next power base for the future is the Latino community. So what you gotta watch at this fundraiser is, because the Latino Caucus wasn't raising a lot of money, right? Besides Victor Reyes telling his clients to give them money, they weren't raising a lot of money. What we have to watch is now how many of the airport vendors show up to this event, and how many new contributors that never contributed to the Latino Caucus
are blow up.
They are about to blow up. And what it signals is dun 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 dun. Black people, it's your last stand. I keep telling y'all. They promising your future away.
So is their caucus just that much smarter than our caucus? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out.
No, I don't think
together on anything.
No, I don't think it's. Yeah, we do. We got together yesterday. You didn't see the press conference.
I saw that.
You didn't see the press conference.
I saw that.
That was like swing low,
right?
Sweet chariot, come on, save us, master, once again. I felt like I keep trying to. This is what black people have to recognize. There is no Calvary. So when you hold the press conference, who exactly are you talking to? Right? When I was watching the press conference and they were talking, because they clearly ain't talking to the brothers on the street.
Right.
It seemed as though they was talking to the white folks saying, please, oh, please, sir. More porridge, please.
But it's also going back to what you keep saying, you're waiting for the cavalry. It's saying that we can't control. It's excuses, Maze.
Well, you know what excuses are?
Oh.
Tools of the incompetent. Used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who use excuses seldom amount to anything.
Sounds like a sports speech.
You know what? It's actually when you pledge it,
Oh,
you be like, "Sir, I was late." Make your booty feel good. Oh, we doing too much. We are doing too much. Check this out. But speaking of calling for help, State Representative LaShawn Ford from the West Side says that Illinois should no longer be a Trump-free zone. He wants Trump to help with the violence. When we come back, we'll ask the social media question of the day. Do you think Trump should come to Chicago to help with the violence? We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
Maze, did you see that there's another split forming?
Go.
Kim Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Her comments in response to all the shootings and everything over the last weekend. And Eddie Johnson and the mayor are always talking about we need new laws and all of this, etc. But Kim Fox said something that was very telling. She said that she felt like it was very disheartening that after the weekend we had gone without anybody being charged. Now what she really means is anybody being arrested, because she's the one who would charge people. She meant being arrested. And she said that it's a feeling that people can do this with impunity, and it makes the work that much more difficult. She's splitting away too.
So what I want, you can work that in. I'm gonna do my dialogue for the question.
Okay.
And then you can make that a point.
Okay.
Because it actually goes into what I'm saying. I'll talk about the clearance rates.
Yeah.
Or as one of it. Right. Well, last year they was 17%, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you can hit that, and then we'll hit the question, and you can
Alright.
bring that piece of it, and it'll work. I think.
Because on Tuesday they were asked again to release current data, and they won't release it on
Okay.
homicides and how many they solved, shootings and homicides.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you like this: the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Do you understand what happens to Rahm Emanuel if Donald Trump is in Chicago, if he was welcome to Chicago? Do you understand? See, y'all, like, you have to understand, like, at that point, Rahm loses, right? Because he can't trump the president, no matter what. Like, the president could put him in a box and be like, you can't come out the room. I think what you're seeing is a bully, what I see is a bully being confronted by a bigger bully with a bigger bully pulpit. And if Donald Trump just was like, I'm about to deploy $50 million in anti-violence dollars to Chicago, but I'm also going to do more police, and he goes through the... And first of all, let me just tell you, if Donald Trump had a rally in Chicago, I bet you it would be full. I do. And I bet you that if y'all wouldn't drag black people, there would be black people that would be up in that mud. I bet we probably could get Jed and them to go back now. They'd probably be on the stage. That's just a joke. No, I'm just... How y'all feeling this morning? What's up, Devon? What's up, Tiger Lily? What up, Henry Hartsfield? What up, Dr. Darlene? Alvin E. Norton? What up, Salim Muwakil? We's hungry, sir. What up, Michelle Flagg? What up, AJ, your boy Steele? What up, Michelle Flagg? What up, Kang Foster Red? Carlton Brown? I got the bone up on my... That's criminal. I could probably write it better than I could say it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take some time and study with Willie Wilson. And I'm going to do it. I bet I could get it. I bet you I could. What up, Maurice Newman? What up, Leah Charrier? What up, Melanie Bird? Z5 Soror? What up, Carlton Brown? What up, Susan Peters? What up, Lisa Bilbro? What up, James Matthews Jr., Val Free? I only got one application for that job, $4,000 a month. Y'all better get on that. That's good pay. That's good combat pay.
So, the Tribune story, I unsubscribed, so I missed the first sentence, but I was able to pick
I
it
got
up.
it.
Oh, okay, cool.
What's up, Tyra?
I
Tayborn.
I had
What
it.
up, Tamiko
Alright, well,
Holt?
Basically, the first
Yeah,
sentence,
it's right here.
basically, the first sentence says they will no longer work together, right?
All right, y'all. Does anybody
Less
in
than a week
the Lions Den want to help?
Less than a week after the orchestrated protest, they've decided to go separate ways.
Okay, so then they fell out over
They
this.
fell out.
Over what?
This is the T.L. Livingston story,
Okay.
but it's missing the first sentence.
Okay.
Okay, but you get the meat of it.
Okay. So we need So hey y'all. I need so my daughter's having her trunk party this weekend. So feel free if anybody wants to donate gift cards to help alleviate the pressure. You know what I mean? It will be greatly appreciated. I'll collect the gift cards. We'll write you this wonderful note. We'll give you special shouts out. But we want to send Milan to college. And for real, y'all, don't nobody better talk. Oh, $4,000 a month. Y'all don't want that $4,000 a month? That's all right. I'm about to refer. Then they gonna be writing a story about I got somebody on another campaign, right? And take a moment, share the broadcast. Can you do me a favor today? Can you do me another favor and share the broadcast with your groups? Now, if you share the broadcast in your groups and you let me know or I'll check them out, I'm happy to give them special acknowledgement. And to the biggest groups to the people that, let me ask you a question. So check this out. I would like to have like the pride with inside of the Lions Den. And the pride would be like my social media team, the people that agree to share, spread, promote. You get special, like the May said street team. And we want to turn the Den, because y'all in the fall, we're going to rebrand the Den. And it's coming back, Lions Roars, the whole joints. But I want like my, like my squad, my social media squad. Like how Tiger Lily and Patah be like, we'll turn the Den into like the Hive, but for men and women that's on black issues. We want a new logo. We want a lion, a red, black, and green lion with dreadlocks. I need an artist. Come on, y'all, get with the Den. Let's do it. Not squad. That's the pride. I want them to be like the Den. They'll be like, go get them. They go get them. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me all week is attorney Kimberly Agoin. And Kimberly, I do. Every day after the 6:30 break is the social media question of the day. Now, 71 people shot in the weekend and no arrests made. Combine that with an 18% clearance rate from last year, because they don't want to tell us the numbers this year. The Laquan McDonald cover-up, along with videos of police shootings almost every week, and Black Chicago clearly does not trust CPD. Party politics are keeping all of our leaders from meeting for a comprehensive solution. And add to that, a failed mayor trying to survive by feeding the Latinos and lecturing blacks. There's really, in my estimation, nobody, city, county, or state, that is looking out for the interests of black people economically now and even in the case of violence. So, West Side elected official, state representative LaShawn Ford, who also happens to be a Sigma man, wants Trump's help. He said that he wants Trump, that we should not be cut off from the resources. So I want to know from the WVON listening audience, and you too, Kim, should Chicago accept the help from Donald Trump? But before we get there, on the live line to explain exactly what he means, so I don't put no words in his mouth. State Representative LaShawn K. Ford. Representative Ford, how are you this morning?
Thank you, Frank. Good morning to you and Kim. I'm doing okay.
So, Representative, you are not one to shy away from controversial issues. And here you go again. You want Trump's help in Chicago? Man, what are you thinking? That's treasonous in this state.
Fred, I got to first give a shout out to all our reparations brothers, because reparations comes from the federal government for sure. And that would be great if we have this conversation with President Trump. But William Clay said, politics, there are no permanent enemies, no permanent friends, only permanent interests. My interest is that we help black people, that we have the resources from the U.S. federal government, the HUD department, where we could build up the west side and the south side of Chicago, where we could get the Surgeon General to come in and help us with the coordinated plan to deal with the trauma in our neighborhood. President Trump talked about how he knows that the workforce is limited because we don't have enough skilled workers. He also talked about how the black unemployment has gone down. But what he doesn't understand, and why we have to work with this president, is to teach him that many black people have never been put on the unemployment rolls, so his numbers are wrong. We got to show him that there are people walking around on the west side of Chicago, that the Chicago public schools have failed. We need to put them in a training program so that they could become skilled workers to fill some of those jobs that are not available. That's what I'm talking about with working with President Trump and the White House.
But hold on, Representative. Our mayor has declared Chicago a Trump-free zone. I mean, you say Donald Trump, he's in every commercial. If you are associated with Donald Trump, if you say anything good about Donald Trump, you will be considered a sellout. LaShawn, Representative. What are you thinking, man? What are you really thinking right now?
I'm saying that Illinois sends more tax dollars, billions of dollars, to the federal government. We send more of our hard-earned money to the federal government. We need it back. And I understand exactly where Mayor Emanuel is coming from when he declares Chicago a Trump-free zone. The problem with that is he declared it because Chicago is a sanctuary city.
Uh-oh.
We as black people cannot allow for our nose to be cut off despite our faith.
What?
And stand with Rahm Emanuel saying that Chicago is a Trump-free zone so that we could protect illegal immigrants. Now, I support, as a Catholic, one that believes in social justice, I support our brothers and sisters of all persuasions. But I am not going to stand and say that Trump cannot come to Chicago and bring federal resources to the black people.
So what he's saying is, where is our sanctuary?
He's saying what's in it for the black people.
Right. Where is the sanctuary for the black people who are the legal citizens of the... Oh, you said okay.
You see, Representative... See, this is the same guy who changed Cicero to Mandela way, right? So you got the... LaShawn, I'm going to tell you. I believe that there is a slow-rolling awakening that is happening in the black community. And Representative Ford, I don't feel like, and I know it'll get you in trouble, right? But I don't feel like the party that we have put all of our interests into has returned our investment. And I think people are starting to look around and see it. When you look in other places and people are looking at their paychecks, and even the white union guys are like, my paycheck is really nice. I haven't heard anybody saying they want to turn any money back, but it seems like, why does it seem like we have to be either or, and black people are not able to represent their self-interest without being considered a sellout?
Right. And Mays and Kim, I got to tell you, my brothers and sisters on the north side, they have to realize that although people are getting shot in Austin and Lindale and Inglewood, it's impacting them emotionally as well, and it's getting them in their pocketbooks because taxes have to keep going up to pay for more police, to pay for the trauma and emergency rooms, to pay to keep people healthy that's after gunshots. So we may be feeling the pain from the gunshots in our community, but they clearly need to know that they have to join in and help us advocate for resources to stop the violence and to give people equal opportunities in this city. Otherwise, taxes are going to continue to rise.
Representative Ford, I do have a question, though, because I have no issues with what you're saying. I think that if he's the president of the United States and we are a part of his constituency, we need to be having these conversations. That's fine. The issue that I have is it looks like to deal with President Trump, you also have to make certain deals. Like you have to almost stand there and let him say, this is my Negro, this is my black person here. He doesn't seem to let people leave with their dignity. How do you approach this with having the conversation with him without becoming one of those people who has to hand your dignity over to him looking like you're on a plantation? Because that's the way it looks with all the ministers he's with, and everyone just looks like they're willing to just kind of hand that over to get what they want.
That's easy. You make the deal before you come before the cameras.
Right.
There's no reason to go before cameras. I'm working with Trump. The only thing that we could do is have this meeting with his team, not President Trump first, but we need the meeting with his HUD division, the Labor Department, Transportation Department, Department of Human Services, make a deal, they take it back and they get it approved from the president. We come down and we say, this is what we're getting ready to do in Chicago.
Exactly. Hey, y'all. State Representative LaShawn Ford. Representative Ford, I want to thank you for taking time out. Now, if you want to hold on, we got to go to traffic and weather, and we're going to take some calls. But if you want to, if you can hang on and let us know. But I'm going to tell y'all, see, this is politics starting to get played. Now, LaShawn getting ready to be in trouble, though, y'all. Y'all know you're about to be in trouble. You know you done messed up, right? LaShawn, you know you done messed up, right? Oh, he got off the phone. Because you know right now that the other line is like, what is you talking about? Look, it's South Chicago. Oh, is he back? Representative Ford?
I'm hanging on.
You gonna hang on? Okay, man, because you know you're in trouble, right? You know something.
I'll be in trouble for my people, no problem.
I heard that. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up.
There is an awakening happening. Y'all don't want to hear me, though. Y'all don't want to hear me, though. Y'all look. Madigan hired a murderer. A murderer.
They talked about it last night.
I tried
to
to.
watch it?
No, I didn't.
Chicago tonight had a discussion about WVZ.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, had a whole discussion about, well, what does this mean? What does it? Why is his political campaign, his political organization falling apart like this at this particular moment? I mean, what else can happen?
I mean, guys, it's the thing that the reason it don't make sense to the average person, and sometimes I'm probably too inside baseball, and I may not. But even yesterday when they were on Chicago, I did see that on Chicago Tonight. They really couldn't communicate it very well what exactly it meant, except to say that, guys, these are mistakes that they never make. When I tell you they are bulletproof, and they're slipping. And it's like you're watching them slip at a rate that people who have observed cannot grasp. They're like, holy crap. This dude this dude had a murder, and then they all knew about it. So it's like it touched everybody. Like, there's a RICO case waiting. If they did not control everything up the chain, right? If they did not control all of the levers of power and the subpoenas, guess what? Somebody else would prosecute them. Now, because that's why they invested. Now, if Erica Harold was to win the Attorney General, let me tell you what. It'd be some real issues in Springfield, because she would just be the watchdog and investigate everything. Do y'all understand that? Man, and I keep telling. Okay, I'll be right back. Kim, you got the cameras.
All right. So they have the article about the black elected officials joining forces, and they wrote again to stop violence. Because it's just getting old. They have no solutions for this. They have no plan for this. It's really old. And people are tired of watching all of these elected officials who don't do anything stand together. Keep having these press conferences. Just keep doing it. The aldermen have to talk to each other about stop asking and start demanding. Oh, everyone's fighting for their job, going through the motions, and then they'll get back in and go deaf and numb all over again.
You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me all week, Attorney Kimberly Agoin. I have on the live line State Representative LaShawn Ford, who says that he wants Trump. He doesn't want Chicago to be a Trump-free zone anymore. He wants the resources, the federal resources that Donald Trump can provide to help deal with the issues impacting Black Chicago. Did I get that right, Representative Ford?
Jackson.
And he is not even concerned about being considered a sellout, a turncoat. Like, let me just ask you, Rep. Aren't you worried about the onslaught? Because you know you got like all them white liberal colleagues that be like, oh, LaShawn, I can't believe you were there talking about that Donald Trump. What are you thinking? He doesn't like you people.
You know, I think that if my white brothers and sisters speak against the fact that I'm saying that I want help for my people, that tells the story.
What?
And I think that what we have, I got a call from a good friend, Barbara Wheeler. She's a Republican. We're going to be working together. We're going to have a phone conference on Friday at 10 o'clock to bring black, white Republicans together about this violence in Chicago. So that's my white sister from the suburbs.
So look, let's take a phone call. Let's get on the phone. Ryan, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690. We got Representative Ford. Should we accept Trump's help in Chicago?
Absolutely. And for the most obvious fact is that we pay federal taxes. But then I got to ask you all a question. We didn't demand and ask of anything and get much of anything from Barack Obama. So we're not going to ask anything of Donald Trump. So who the hell are we waiting for?
See, Ryan, let me tell you, and Representative Ford, I said this and people got mad at me. I said, if y'all ain't going to make a demand from the black president, what make y'all think the white boy going to say, well, why y'all asking me? Y'all had y'all shot. Representative Ford, do you think we maximized the role of that President Obama provided in getting resources back to Chicago specifically?
Absolutely not. In fact, I even asked President Obama for resources as well. So I held President Obama to the same standard. We need help in the city of Chicago. There was violence then, and I asked President Obama about reparations, and I asked President Obama about bringing resources back. So I'm consistent with my ask.
So what did he do when you asked him?
I never got any. It never even made the press that I asked for help.
This is what he did.
Sing great, how sweet the sound.
Melissa, go ahead.
But President Obama is his Achilles heel. So, I mean, it just looks like more people would have used President Obama as the bargaining chip with President Trump. I don't understand why more people don't say, well, you know, President Obama didn't do this. And then he'll say, you know what? He didn't do anything for the poor people of Chicago. Let me come on in and.
But everybody's scared to say it except LaShawn, Representative Ford. See, I'm saying, let's play politics. Hey, man. You know, I would be pointing to everything President Obama didn't do, and you know Donald Trump be like, I'll make it greatly for you. I'll make it greatly. Bigly. Lisa, you're on the top of Chicago.
Hi, Mays, and good morning, State Rep Ford. I'm in your district, and I would love to stand with you to meet with Trump. I am a professional black woman. I'm a nursing instructor, Dr. Williams over there, and I think we should meet with Trump here in the city of Chicago because, as the last caller said, we pay federal taxes just as much as anybody else, and so why should we cut off our nose and spite our face?
Because how would the sanctuary residents feel? Because wouldn't that be un-American of us to be worried about ourselves instead of everybody else?
One thing that it's our responsibility as citizens. And you say it all the time on this show, you and Kim, and you talk about holding elected officials accountable. And you talk about the bag. There is no bigger bag than President Trump's. And we need to hold him accountable, and we need to help.
I heard that. Let's go to Tony. Tony, you on the Talk Chicago 1690.
Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Let me say this. Why are we getting all upset over this crap? When the white gangster was killing each other, what happened? That's how the FBI got started. So why are we so alarmed? If we need to bring the FBI, the feds into Chicago like they did back in the gangster days to deal with the violence, then let's do it. And on the flip side of this crap, like I said yesterday, if we take the police department, cut it in half, take all that money, put it into damn public works jobs. We need a Marshall Plan for Chicago. That's what we need. Put people to work.
Amen.
Wake up, Chicago. What Lisa Madigan is doing to Willie Wilson is ridiculous. Why don't she investigate the Green Party, Mike Madigan, Burke, and Cullerton for stealing our tax money? That's how the tax divide got started, because her father is the number one law firm taking all this property tax money in Chicago.
Man, could y'all imagine if Rico came here? They don't want the feds here. Representative Ford, I'm going to give you the opportunity to close.
Thank you, Mays. I just say that it's our responsibility to speak up for ourselves. If we don't speak up for ourselves, no one else will. And I look forward to working with my constituents to come up with that Marshall Plan for our community. Thank you, Mace.
Rep Ford, you think we can get you in a What's in it for the Black People t-shirt?
Yeah, come on now. I'll wear that.
Can I get you to wear it on the floor?
I'll wear it on the floor.
Oh!
Although I'll put it on my desk, but I'm not going to wear it on the floor because I have a certain decorum that I have to maintain, and that's a shirt and tie with a jacket.
That's all right. I'll get you a poster. We'll make sure you got it at your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, that is State Representative LaShawn Ford. Should we accept the help of the federal government and Donald Trump? LaShawn Ford says, yes, it seems like our callers are saying, yeah, they say we pay that money too. Kim?
Yeah, and I think the one gentleman was talking about the FBI coming in. Rep Ford is not talking about law enforcement coming in. He's talking about dollars to rebuild our community. We don't want just law enforcement coming in because they don't tend to deal with African Americans in a just and fair way. He's talking about dollars to rebuild the communities. Our communities look like others.
You know what? It's Talk Chicago. We'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
The Talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Man, I feel like we should invite Trump to Chicago. The problem would be who would go to the meeting and what would be at the meeting. So let me tell you, the first meeting, right, would be the icebreaker meeting that says that he can't tell us you can't come to Chicago. So The first meeting might be a photo op, but we would be using the photo op just as much as Trump. Because if you imagine, just imagine, a leadership coalition of black folks who were credible, who didn't come in and say Donald Trump is the greatest. This is the opening of a dialogue to talk about the federal resources because we are being usurped by the person that is supposed to be representing us. So this ain't we all Donald Trump supporters. There won't be like I'm with rhyme signs like the last time, right? It would be more of a introductory meeting. And then you would ask him to bring his cabinet secretaries with him on the issues that impact us the most. So you'd ask for Ben Carson for HUD. You'd ask for somebody from economics. You probably ask for somebody from the Department of Defense and education, because all of those places have money, right? And you say, let's craft $100 million or $200 million public works program for black Chicagoans. And you say black Chicagoans because it is a sanctuary city, and we want to do it, Mr. President, without having to go to ROM and have it brokered. So we'll cut the deal. You say it's done, and then you execute it and you implement it around the party. Now, you have to find credible representatives, but you'd have to cut out all of the old guys who were negotiating in the past. Right? Now, you are transactional with Trump. You ain't his boy. You ain't his homie. You are transactional. We got a $200 million budget right here, and as long as he keep funding that, we got to work on that. Now, as you start pulling, think about JB is spending on his campaign what could be the public works program for the black community. To ask the feds for $200 million ain't that much, but if you think about what it could do, right? And you put a Chicago czar, or what's in it for the black people, or a black czar over really just dealing with the issues, and it's a direct pipeline from the White House to the project or the program. You get private funders, right? And you create tax breaks and tax incentives for those private funders to participate. I'm telling y'all, you can make something happen. You can make something happen, and you usurp the party. And you use their money to build your own infrastructure. And when the next person comes along, when Trump is gone, you still got the statewide apparatus network that you then leverage to any place. Now, you are not, as the black community, the bulk of the vote. But wherever you take yours, you swing it, right? So right now, JB is in trouble. He's only 9 points up after spending $100 and something million. Now, if the black turnout shrinks, or if black people don't just overwhelmingly vote for him at a 90% clip, he loses. Yet and still, these motherfuckers on TV, excuse my language, licking puppies. Right? Then he had the audacity to have a meeting and blame the violence on Rauner. Like, really? 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 This ain't a Rauner defense. This is what fucking solution do you have if we got to give you 100% of our loyalty? What are you doing to address it? And I'm not saying, are you hiring the best experts in the world? Are you saying we need to be sitting down and figuring out the program? And is there a Marshall Plan? Like, I have limited to no expectations from Republicans. Limited to none. But we give all of our support undyingly to Democrats, and then we can't even expect that this dude got this brain trust. Where is Sean? Where is Alex? Where is Quentin? Where are all the smart black people that they got on the campaign that are saying we need to address this? So y'all talk about Juliana, and I'm not tripping on her, because I think she is the best thing they got cracking on that campaign. But if she's a violence person, and they touted her work in working with youth and Cook County. Where is she at? Wouldn't that be something that she should be at the forefront of talking about? Like, man, this is you had a high profile lunch telling bougie black women why it's Bruce Rauner's fault? No, sis, you from the neighborhood. You supposed to be sitting here saying, these are the issues that are impacting people, and this is what... I'm sorry. I get emotional. I really wish I didn't like black people. I really wish I didn't love y'all. I really do, because I could just be paid. Like paid. Don't get it twisted. I get paid. But paid. Now, let me be clear. There is no Calvary. We got to take our peace. And the worst thing that could be happening in their mind right now is we could even be considering talking about any... Mark my words right now. With what LaShawn is doing, you're going to see the Trump attacks ramped up in Illinois. I'm sorry. How y'all doing today? Take a moment to share the broadcast. I'd like to take a moment to thank everybody who has shared the broadcast. You know, we leave a little early today. Dang, y'all don't want to share with your boy no more. Thank you, Val Free. Shout out to the Southeast. Thank you, Val Free and the Southeast Side Block Club Alliance. Melvin D. Griffin, thank you. What up, Brother Patad? Thank you. Cletus Williams. Tamiko, I'd like to thank you for sharing with the Chicago Housing Authority residents past and present, as well as the Kimberly Agoin experience. Thank you very much for the share, Kim. Quincy Frierson, the relevance of melanin. Thank y'all very much for sharing the broadcast. 25th Dynasty Conglomerate. All right, that's a new group. Thank you very much. Carol R. Muhammad, Quincy Frierson, Salim Muwakil. Are you a philosopher? Yes. Melvin D. Griffin, Stephen Winters. What up, Frat Bluefi? What up, Melvin Griffin? What up, Tiger Lily? Yeah, man, that's part of being in the frat, man. Sometimes you got to show your family some love, man. My man been under the onslaught, so, you know, I had to put him. He came under the A. Langston. Shout out to the men of the Blue Fire, you know what I'm saying? That's what we got to have networks. What up, WVON? What up, Tiger Lily? Dang, Tiger. What up, Sonia Escobar, Albany Norton? You on everything I own. Couldn't believe you stayed around that damn long. Never see you again, no one be mad at all. 'Cause I believe that you're my downfall. You did me wrong. I do what you read all about life for now. I'm so through with you. Wanted you to be there. Right here, with you here. We're together. We never turned our backs on each other. But now I have to get separated. We can't stand one another. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Sonia, you are just classic. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, sitting in with me all week, attorney Kimberly Agoin. But y'all know how we do at the top of every hour. Gotta say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Play. So, Kim, you know, you was just talking about... it seemed we were talking about all the violence, the issues that are impacting Chicago, the violence, particularly in Chicago, and black folks. And then maybe about a little close to a month ago, I declared that there was a new king of Black Chicago, the king of the Black people, Reverend Dr. Father Flager. Now, some of y'all get mad at me for calling him Father Flager, but let me just do my thing, right? And I questioned not Father Flager's work in the community, but I questioned whether Father Flager should be the face of the issues that are impacting Black people. Love him for his work, but I wondered what signal does it send to Black youth when their defender is once again, not a colonizer, but a missionary. How about that?
Imagery.
Yeah. Image. But when do we see our... And so when T.O. Hardeman and Reverend Greg Livingston decided to put on their march, I had some feelings about it. But and even after the post coverage, I decided that because there were two Black men who were willing to step to the forefront and attempt to be the face of the issues, at least the issues that impact Black folks, I said, you know what? We're not going to let the press tell our story. We're going to tell it. Man, I saw 500 people. So you can imagine my surprise when I saw in the Chicago Tribune that after the successful shutdown of Lakeshore Drive, north and south, and the march to Wrigley Field, that Reverend Livingston and T.O. Hardeman were calling it quits. Kim, I would have never seen it coming.
Yeah, when I'm reading that, I saw a little trouble when they did a Chicago Tonight interview right before the march. And I don't think that this was anything that could not have been solved by them having a crisis manager or some type of communications person. It was a little bit of a difference in message. But I'm just like, we couldn't just go we couldn't have a few more weeks
well,
of, the idea that it had to fall apart so fast.
Well, let's not call it fall apart. Let's just say that they parted ways.
Okay.
And so to give us some insight on it, because sometimes I can traffic in rumor and speculation, but I'd rather hear directly from the involved party. So on the live line, we have former Illinois gubernatorial candidate, as well as from where I know him from, as the man who ran Ceasefire, T.O. Hardeman. T.O., welcome back to the WVON morning show, my brother. How are you today? Okay, so T.O., hey man, what happened, brother? I see in the Tribune, I see on Chicago Tonight that you and Brother Livingston have parted ways. What happened?
I'm not in favor of taking people out to march and have people get arrested, okay? My thing is we had a very successful, march and peaceful demonstration on Lakeshore Drive. We're still brothers. I want the whole world to know that. We're not at odds like that. It's just we have to, he announced that he was going to shut down the Kennedy Expressway over here, and no one gave me any information on it. I just happened to see it on the news, and I wish, I come from discipline. That's why nobody got arrested at the march out there on Lakeshore Drive. And I wish somebody had told me before he just jumped up and said that's what he was going to do, because 90% of the people that came out to the rally on Lakeshore Drive was people I invited out. So I feel, we have to do what we have to do as Black men, but we're not at odds like that. I want everybody to know that.
So here's the question I have, because I never understood the purpose of discussing that. I'm going out here to get arrested. I've never understood that. But I do understand the aspect of civil disobedience and the idea that all marches are not civil disobedience, but if you are going to block up traffic and that type of thing, some people may get arrested. I never saw an issue with that. So is it that you were just really against the idea of people getting arrested, period?
There's too much violence in Chicago right now. A lot of people getting arrested. My thing is, we made our point. Our message got out all across the world, and it's time for us to show that we can take care of the business. That's what Mays just introduced it. Father Flager took care of his business. I have no comment about that, but we are qualified Black leaders, and we can also do, similar, organize similar events. I understand some people may get arrested, but that's not what I was out there for. I'm a proven leader. My thing is, our message was loud and clear all across the nation.
So, T.O., let me ask you a question, man. So I got a couple. The first is, but it seems like it's public. And it seems to me as though the white folks get to do the touchdown dance. Because they was like, see? I knew them Negroes couldn't. And I also feel like it also gives it only reinforces the king's status. Shouldn't that have been family business that should have been not gone to the news, but stayed amongst the brothers?
Right.
No, I have to agree with you on that. The only issue I have with Livingston, to be honest with you, is he actually published some of our text message exchanges. I didn't like that. I would never do nothing like that myself. But I'm not going to play like we at odds in a real serious way. I think we'll come together and come to Jesus, as some people say. Eventually, it's not. We're not mad at each other like that. The reality is this. After all the violence that took place over the last weekend in Chicago, I've decided we got to put more focus now in organizing these brothers and sisters on the streets on the west and south side of Chicago and do our best to reduce gun violence. I get tired personally. I care less about what other people think about me as a black leader, and I just don't get caught up in that. The thing is, we have all failed black folks in Chicago if we cannot get a handle on reducing the killers in Chicago. So that's where my mind is at right now. And I salute Livingston. It's just we have two different ideologies, and I think we bumped heads a little bit, and it should have been private. Yes, sir, Mays. It should have been private, but, I just want everybody in the world to know that I have nothing to do with no shutdown of O'Hare Airport, and the Kennedy. That's what that's all about.
So let me ask you, T.O., do you... So I know you guys are not working together, but on this collaboration. But T.O., how do we get Black Chicago together? How do we get on one accord? Because it seems to me, my brother, it's like everybody's jumping lanes. I feel like you are. I know you, T.O., as the guy who used to stop the crime in the streets. You knew that when that first 15 shootings happened, that it was going to be 15 more. And now that it's 30, you know it. And so are you wasting your time in the political space when we know that when you were operating ceasefire, we were able to have some impact? Is it time for you to get out the political game and go back? And I'm not kicking you out, but I'm saying, man, brother, you had credibility with the streets. You was a guy that people could go to, and now you in the thing, you trying to be the people we don't trust.
I appreciate that, Maze. Yeah, I'm going back to the violence prevention arena now. I just want everybody to know that the reality is Black Death is a hustle, Maze. The face of violence prevention is 5 white men in Chicago receiving millions and millions of dollars to do what? I would like to know. And another thing I want to say this, because I'll be on CNN later today. This is very important. I'm not against the police. The police cannot stop killings in the black community or anywhere because they have not been trained to stop killings, Maze. They've been trained to come after a crime has been committed. They need a new training, we need a new model in Chicago, and what I'm offering is a new model in Chicago along with my credibility, and I'm one of the people in Chicago that can really stop the killing.
Gotta stop you, ladies and gentlemen. That is T.O. Hardeman. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up.
The problem becomes, so let me tell you, politics is like, if you ever watched The Ring, that's what it is. So everybody hates politics until they get to become a politician. So initially you run for the office, even if you don't think you're gonna win, for the goal of raising awareness to your issue. But then you get in the race, and everywhere you go, because everybody can find followers. So I don't care if you are Dr. Spot, everybody can find followers. So what happens is you get on the campaign trail and you go to these little pockets of 10 or 12 or 15 people, or even 50 or 100. And then your ego gets charged, and then you become a candidate. And you start enjoying the perks of being a candidate because they got to give you equal coverage. So now, when you were used to only getting hit in the news once a week or once a month, now the press, every channel is calling you to get a quote and this, and you become more important, and you become almost like a local celebrity, even if you lose, right? Because now I see you on TV everywhere I go, and in the hood, once you're on TV,
Livingston.
okay. And in the hood, once you're on TV, you become like a local celebrity, and people enjoy the local celebrity of it all. So then when it's time to go back to being what you were, an advocate for your issue, ain't nobody calling you every day trying to put you on the news, etc. So you lose that charge, but you still got them people that said, man, you should have won. And even if they ain't the people that said, man, you should have won, they're the people that are like, they're going to be diehard supporters, so they're going to always push you out there. And so that's what you got to understand. Let me stop. I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much today. I apologize, y'all. Kim, you got anything?
No, everything you're saying is, I mean, you know how it goes. People want to hear it. So the only thing that I had a question about was you were talking about the thing with Trump. What is the advantage of, from the very beginning, from the onset? And I know this is just aesthetics, right? But what is the advantage of having that group of people there using a photo op from the very beginning?
I don't necessarily think it has to be a. Well, let me back up.
But you know what I'm saying? And this
Yes.
is where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want the certain powers that be right now to even know who was there. I would want it all to be a surprise to them as you work behind the scenes with this guy to try and get something accomplished. Because it just seems like there are too many people that can be infiltrated and that type of thing. If you're really trying to work on behalf of the community and you have the ear of the man who has everything, why not work in some stealth silence a little bit and then drop it on them?
So I think there's different approaches, and I think that's a very good approach. I think that the first photo op would be coming out, like the meeting would happen, and it would be coming out, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that what that does is send a signal to the rest of Black America, Black power brokers, white power brokers. The president came with his staff, his decision makers, to come and sit down and say, okay, JR, we know you've been dealing with housing, so we're gonna match you up with Ben Carson, Amara. So we put them on housing, and you've got this core group, and it comes out and it says this is a working group. You're clear up front. You're transparent. Look, Trump ain't my nigga. This ain't my butt. He is the president of the United States, and we have begun the open dialogue of creating a relationship. Our leaders, Maxine Waters, has failed us. Maxine, the Black Caucus, and they're not talking about the issues. They're busy talking about whatever. So while they are still dealing with immigration, this group of people, and we hope this can be a model that can be replicated, because clearly the people who have been elected to represent us do not represent us. They represent the issues of the party, right? Now you don't have the idea of this secret meeting, right? There's no aha, got you moment. Look, we're going to have ongoing negotiations. So it's not, I came down and we took it, and it's like this month. Like the first one is, this is a convening of Black thought leaders who are meeting with the President of the United States to say, these are the issues that impact Black people. How can you deal with them? Here's our 10 points. Here's what we're suggesting. The Chicago model is, we want $500 million to deal with violence, blah, 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 blah. We want it to go through these groups. We do not want it coming through the channels that are used to oppress us. Because if you put it through the traditional machine operations, those people will use it to same way it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Y'all, family business. You know, my mama used to say, I don't care what go on in this house. You better not say one word when you get outside.
That's right.
But it seems like I picked up the newspaper yesterday. I turned on Chicago Tonight, and they told me that my two brothers, who I was so proud of for standing up and putting Black men in a leadership position in this issue that is happening in Chicago, but they tell me they're breaking up. We just had T.O. Hardeman on. And now, on the live line, we have Reverend Gregory Livingston. Reverend Livingston, how are you doing today this morning, man?
Hey, I'm good, Dr. Mays. Man, glad to be on. How you feel?
I'm great, man. And Kimberly Agoin, attorney Kimberly Agoin, is here with me as well today. So,
K.E., what's happening?
How are you doing, man?
Rev, so, man, what happened, man? Like, what happened?
Well, for me, it's about staying on mission. I'm not going to have no fights with my brother. Tio is a wonderful and a great man, incredibly gifted. My energies are really focused on, our energies are focused on fighting this administration, which has been so detrimental to the city of Chicago and especially challenged people, and and fighting for the people. I love Tio. He's awesome, and I'm just proud that we can just keep going and keep doing good for the people and get this man out of office.
So, Reverend Livingston, am I to understand that, and from what I'm gathering, the split has come because you are vowing to shut down 94 North and O'Hare, and you are vowing to get arrested? Is that where the disagreement is coming?
Well, for me, and that's still in the planning stages, but you have to understand, as a Christian minister, I'm a pastor. And so for me, getting arrested is in honoring the spirit of Jesus Christ, Gandhi, Mandela, Dr. King. And so, as I said before with the march last week, being part of getting arrested was not a requirement to be in this march, but for those that want to get arrested, and for me, it's in the spirit of those great souls. Well, let's all do it. And I tried to get arrested, but they wouldn't do it. And again, but it was not a requirement of anybody. So, no, we're all on the same page. We're good.
But Reverend Livingston,
Yes.
Ultimately, because as a black man in Chicago, the last thing I want to do is get arrested. Why?
Well, I would say, go ahead.
Why is being arrested so important in this struggle, especially if you don't pack the jails and you got to go in Division 9?
Right.
When I met Mandela about in 1993 before he became president, Mandela said something to me. He said, when I was on Robben Island, he said, for 18 years, I didn't have a pillow or a mattress. He said, for 18 years, they never gave me clean water. It was either dirty or salty water. That was in 1993. That was 25 years ago, as he described his journey in that Robben prison. And as a Christian minister, I look at Joseph in Egypt. I look at the Apostle Paul being jailed, Martin King and Gandhi. You see, it is a journey. It is. King called it unmerited redemptive suffering. When you volunteer to suffer for people, there's something that is sown that is then reaped that is greater. The more you suffer, and everybody can't deal with this, and I understand it, but the more you suffer, the harder you work out, the greater the results are. And so that's where I am with that in that spirit, and the spirit of those that have gone before me. But again, I don't require that. I don't have requirements for people. You know what I mean? We're all grown. So I just want to love people, and whatever I can do with my life, I want to give it for the people in that way.
Reverend Livingston, so
yes, sir.
Family business, though, my brother. Talk to me about the whole family business component of this. It seems like you all have rehanded the crown back to the king, right? It feels like the divide and conquer. I was feeling like the brothers we have wrested the crown from the king.
We couldn't even have a full month of feeling like, this is back in the hands of black people.
How do black people get together if our leaders came?
For me, I don't see it that way. There's only one person with the crown. For me, that's God. And so, this movement, this march was an idea. It was a right idea. So for me, any right idea is a God idea that belongs to all of us. So this is God's work. This ain't my work. This is God's work, and we just keep pushing forward in God's work. If nobody ever knows my name, but when I get to heaven, I'll get a reward. Now, that's my spiritual religious belief. It doesn't have to be everybody else's, but that's who I am. This is God's work. So in terms of black people, white people, are black people getting together? Do I love my own flesh? Of course. I've pastored in some of the most challenged areas in this city for years, for decades. And many pastors are doing things that they never get in the media about. But that's not why they're doing it, to get in the media. And when if people find out who's behind it or who's not behind it, who's doing what, it doesn't matter. As long as we can feed the hungry, clothe the naked, be a blessing to those who are sick and suffering, man, for me, that's what it's all about. And I know T.O. feels the same way.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston. Hey, man, when we all get to heaven,
come on.
Get to heaven. What a glorious day that will be. Maybe we,
church, man.
You know it. It's the Top of Chicago 1690. We'll be back after the traffic news and the weather. Will we all? What a day of rejoicing that will be. Y'all ain't ready. If they would just let me. The things that are on my hard drive, y'all don't understand. I need more outlets. He said, when we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. Kim getting the hum on.
That song, they use that in Mississippi Burning. In one of the real serious parts.
Really?
When the people were in the church, and then all the white Klansmen were outside and came and started just beating the hell out of everybody. When it was time to leave, it was really messed up. I always think about that.
So let's do this one. Oh, victory in Jesus. Oh, y'all don't let me start doing.
What religion is your church?
So we started out as Nazarenes.
What's that?
It's like a very right-wing, white, conservative church.
Okay.
And then we became Baptists. And then when we became Baptists, we started out as Baptists, then we moved to the suburbs and we became Nazarenes.
Okay.
And then we became Baptists. And then when we became Baptists, I got a job so I could stop going to church. And that was it.
What were you working at the mall?
I was working at Burger King, and I used to open and work every day, so I didn't have to go to church no more because we went to church 6 days a week.
You know what, Maze? The very first time I ever really found out what the suburbs were about, it was in Bolingbrook. We had friends out in Bolingbrook, and I had never seen anything like that before at all. First of all, the school had a Christmas pageant every year. They would be playing Dr. Seuss and all of that type of stuff. But we went out there with the Bowers, this girl named Lori Bauer and her sister Rachel Bauer. And they had a Christmas extravaganza at their house. They made cookies, decorated a tree. We watched all kinds of movies and stuff. But we actually Christmas Carol.
I was just about to say, we used to Christmas Carol. I feel like the Bowers went to, I feel like I know them, but we used to go Christmas Carol.
Rachel Bauer?
I feel like I do.
Okay, so we went to their mother's house and father's house, planned what songs we were going to sing, went door to door, sang for money.
We didn't sing.
Took the money home, bought pizza, and made cookies. I mean, it was so much fun. And you could just walk, you could just roam freely.
We left in the morning and came back when the street lights came on.
Yes.
And yeah.
And I was like, this is a life.
That's why
this is the life.
I used to sing Christmas carols. Right? I used to be like, y'all don't want me to know. Y'all don't want me to hear me. Because see, y'all don't even want the whole Christian side of Maze. Because then I'd be like, oh, y'all want to sing Onward Christian Soldiers marching off to war with the cross of Jesus going on before. You know what I'm realizing though? Those were like Crusader songs. Like, dang.
Evangelism.
Right.
No, but every child should experience that. So I don't know where you lived before you went to Bolingbrook, but the idea
514 East 62nd Street.
Oh,
60.
Right down the street.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I have a very So we'll come back with the rhyme, and then I'll cue you when I want the family. Take a moment, share the broadcast. Who's rocking with us today? What's up to everybody on YouTube? Let me see what we got. Shout out to Aaron X. What's up, I am? What up, SJ? What up, Ronald Lewis? What up, TT? What up, Lamont? What up, No PC Show? What up, Carmen Coburn? You need, Sheila, you need a desk job so you can listen to the radio. Just take your phone with you. Put your earplugs in. Get you some wireless earbuds. What's up? Who's rocking with us on the W? Have you shared the broadcast? All right. If you've shared the broadcast, this is the time I'm gonna give you a shout. Melvin D. Griffin. What's up, Maria Munoz? What up, JB? Jesse K. What's up in the building? All the way from the Pain. What's up? Mark Allen, hear my voice. Slide Townsend, Alvin E. Norton, Ready Rock. You be late all the time. What up, Shirley J. Carter? James Matthews, Mark Allen. So Mark Allen, you sharing in the Lions Den now? You can tell the new Lions Den people. What's up, Mark Allen and the Illinois Black Wall Street page? What up to Black Wall Street districts of Chicago? What up, Black Wall Street, Chicago? What up, National Black Wall Street, Chicago? What up, Melvin D. Griffin? Shout out to the Maze Jackson page. Sheila Aiken, Wendell Mosby. Val Free in the Southeast Side Block Club. Wendell Mosby, thank you for sharing with Chicago's Young and Powerful. What up, Patah? What up, Cletus Williams? What up, Tamiko Holt? And the CHA residents past and present. Kimberly Agoin Experience should be co-hosting with us all week. What up, Quincy Frierson? What up to the relevance of melanin? Thank you for the share. The 25th Dynasty Conglomerate. Thank you. Ooh, who is that? What's up, Carol Muhammad? What up, Salim?
People in these communities, and the good people far outweigh the bad people. They do far outweigh them. They're sick of it. So yeah, they're calling. I got several calls this morning myself. You know, I think half the city has my cell phone number.
I don't got it,
to
Eddie.
ensure these people, if you do come forward and testify, it's our obligation and responsibility to keep you safe.
Let me do one thing and then we'll go right to you. Okay? Don't think for a moment people don't know who in the neighborhood was responsible, who actually did this. And so if you say to yourself, enough is enough, will that implore you to then do something? The offender, in almost every situation, I can't say it universally, is known by somebody. They have a moral responsibility to speak up.
As a society, holding people that pull triggers accountable.
Superintendent, did Lollapalooza play any role in perhaps?
No, there was no drain of resources regarding Lollapalooza. That was all overtime initiative that handled.
Can I add one thing to this? I really want you to hear a couple things. This did not happen in every neighborhood, and it's not acceptable in any neighborhood.
Could we do better? Yeah. We always can do better. But at the end of the day, the responsibility of things like we saw this weekend is everybody's responsibility.
I know. I mean, you know this. Well, it's not just, you said, how do I? That's not the question of what a moral community is. I apologize, that's not the right question. When it comes to values, and I say this all the time, I need parents to teach kids, not just we need parents to teach kids right from wrong, to be involved with their kids.
You are tuned in to the top of Chicago, 1690 AM. That was our illustrious Mayor, Rahm Emanuel, with Superintendent Eddie Johnson discussing the weekend's violence and what is going on. It sounded like to me. So, Kim, I know I'm going to look, y'all going to beat me up, but I got to show Eddie Johnson some love. So I'm going to just say, I think that when you got a job, you work for the man. But Kim, I must say that I took yesterday's comments from the mayor as disingenuous and condescending. Now, what I am going to say is clearly he's been getting the messages from the WVON morning show. Because it seemed like he was trying to create a hybrid version of the message. He talked about disinvestment in communities for years and years and years. And then he talked about, you know, what is our responsibility? But then, you know, it seemed like he basically was saying, black kids ain't got no home training.
That's right.
It just felt like he said to me, as I was watching it, I said, is he trying to say black kids ain't got no home training? And I feel like it was a conversation, like I felt like he was a white boy who was listening to a black people talk and felt like he had the opportunity to interject his opinion in our conversation, in our business.
Well, I think that he is definitely listening to something. And he is saying that we have no training. Eddie Johnson is saying he at least reassured us that most of us are not trigger pullers, unlike what Gary McCarthy said. He said, you know, most of us are not pulling triggers, so he can reassure us of that. But Maze, when you listen to how they're speaking to the African American community, if this were any other community, they wouldn't stand for this. They wouldn't stand for this blame shifting.
Oh.
We'd be running. Get your tail out of that office. You gotta go because they're not doing their job. This is their job. I was not trained for law enforcement. And I can tell you right now, I have not seen anyone commit a crime. They're trying to say all of us are aiding. You know they're saying we're all aiding and abetting criminals. We're all watching crimes go down and we're not turning in criminals. And it's our fault that they do not arrest anyone and they do not take anyone to the prosecutor to be convicted.
Now, Kim, I'm with you, right? And then the first thing they talk about is the no snitch, you know, because then they try to lay it on the no snitch policy, you know. And that sounds super sexy until you realize that CPD only has a 17% clearance rate. Yesterday I was talking, so think about this.
It may be lower now too because they won't release their recent numbers.
Kim,
from last year.
Do you understand what it means? That means that 83% of the murders go unsolved. Right. And if you add the white and the Latino murders in, that probably means if you live in the black community, 100% of the murders are going of black people are going unsolved. So when you say that it's on us, and I gotta push back, because you know we were talking about this yesterday. All the black people ain't poor. All black people don't live in terrible neighborhoods, and even if they haven't invested, we've invested in some of our own neighborhoods. So I need to point that out because I think that the narrative that you would see is that all the black people are poor in Chicago. But like when you go to these neighborhoods where people try to keep them together, and you know that if you not snitch, if you tell on the murderer and he lives next door, he coming to shoot you.
That's right. That's right. And then you've got murders that have taken place. What about the 80-year-old woman who was found not decapitated but dismembered?
Right. Oh,
nothing. Yeah. Nothing on that. I mean, they tell us over and over again, and I don't know who is telling them to say this. We know where all the criminals are. We know who all the criminals are. And they never say the third sentence. We bringing them in for questioning and throwing them in jail. You never hear that last sentence. Maybe they can say anything to us because we don't think anything of ourselves. They can say anything to us, and we find a way to blame ourselves in our community. Now, one of the things you said is we're not all poor. That's true, we're not all poor. But because the city is so segregated, they can keep saying to the white community at large, you don't have to worry about this. We know that it's only happening on the what? South and the west sides. So it's all right that it's only happening on the south and west side.
Now, Kim, think about this, though. Think about this.
Okay.
The mayor had a big old party this week and was dancing, and it's like he still gets smiles. I'm telling you, I go places, and for all of this outrage that we got right here, I promise you, they'd be like, Mr. Mayor, come on. Like electric slide, boogie up, man. Dance your way to your demise. That we get legislated to our demise, and then all you got to do, look, they say, round up the chicken, put the seniors on the buses, and deliver them to the mayor.
And it's the same. And the person who created that event was there, so he had his handler there, and so it was a friendly audience. But there are places that he knows he can't go. He didn't come out to the Taste of WVON. I mean,
oh no, I'm trying to get right. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Like there are places he knows that he cannot go to have that conversation because there will be people out there with pitchforks coming after him.
Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, black folks, I don't know if I was almost like watching that press conference like, who said this is okay? Like, I kept saying to myself, who is the black person advising him that he think he can, like, I really felt like, it was like the mayor yesterday felt like he was the white boy who could say the N-word.
That's exactly what I would.
Mayor Emanuel yesterday felt like a white boy. He said, oh, it's okay, I grew up around white people. I mean, I grew up around black people. And I think it's too comfortable for him. He's able to go to too many smiling places and people be like, oh. No, brother, I keep telling y'all.
He's fighting to keep that good job.
He is, Kim.
He's fighting to keep that good job, babe.
Black folks, though, what we cannot do, and I told y'all this before, we cannot allow ourselves to be destroyed externally because we have internal issues. They are using the violence issue to allow this to happen in your... Kim, I can't think of nowhere where there would be 70 shootings in a weekend. And then he gonna say, we're not the worst. Can I just tell y'all? You know what? Check this out. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the part, because you know what? They basically said that Chicago is fake news. We'll talk about that when we come back. See if you can find the fake news quote. Take a moment and share the broadcast. Kim, you can talk to the camera if you want.
Yeah, they say whatever they want to us. Anything. We don't have it at some level at all. Just. Only the African American community can live under these conditions and then be blamed for all of the conditions. And then we really believe that we're at fault. I know someone who is moving out of the city of Chicago who can afford to live in the city of Chicago. He's white, he's got a really big job, and he's leaving because the overall experience of Chicago is not good for him. Now, that's not because he doesn't have stores. He's got 3 grocery stores within a couple of blocks of where he lives. He's got 3 Home Depots within a few miles. I mean, why do you need 3 Home Depots? He's got Targets. He's got anything he would want as far as a shopping experience. The neighborhood is beautiful. Lakeview. So it's wonderful buildings, all types of restaurants, everything. And he's leaving because the experience of Chicago feels downtrodden where he lives. He's tired of the red light cameras. And he's willing to move. He's willing to move because of his experience. Now imagine if he lived in one of the more depressed neighborhoods where you don't have any of the resources that he has. You have none of the necessities that he has. And people are shooting at you. Randomly, though, you don't know when you're going to get shot at. You might get shot at, you might not. Your child might get shot trying to go to work. Child might not get shot. You just don't know when it's going to happen. And then the mayor and the superintendent blamed it on you, an innocent person, like you're a criminal. Because, you know, we are all grouped together as criminals. So other people have the right to be outraged, and they have so much more than many of our communities do. We're living in hell and then being blamed for it. 100% blamed for it. It's my fault that I don't walk around with a walkie-talkie stopping crimes and turning in people. Or is it the police department's fault for not knowing how to police and not knowing how to do their job? Not enough detectives. I'm not talking about foot patrol. What are the detectives doing? What are they doing? If they're not going around knocking on doors trying to solve crimes, what are they doing? But that can only in our neighborhood, only to us can this be par for course. Woo.
How y'all doing today? Take a moment to share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Share it with your group. Share it with your friends. What's up, Antoine Alexander? Thank you, Hood Hope Movement.
Hey, Kyra's number's been changed or disconnected.
Okay. Okay. What up, Maria Munoz? What's up, Biba? What up? Ray Williams, thank you for sharing. Ronald E. Brody, Melvin Griffin. Maria, thank you again for sharing. Jesse K, thank you. Remember, y'all, when y'all share that broadcast, also include a personal message if you don't mind. Tanil, we cracked the algorithm again. They about to start hating. Who's rocking with us up? What up, Tamiko Hope? What up, Roberto Sepulveda? What up, Ready Rock? What up, Vince Bass? What up, Jesse K? What up, Quasi? What up, Mark Allen? What up, Diane Scott? What up, Shanika Finlay? What up, Alicia Benford? You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me all week, attorney Kimberly Agoin. Kim, you know, I was watching the press conference yesterday, and besides the fact that Mayor Emanuel basically said black folks ain't got no home training, he also said that he also blamed the media for fake news. They said that we exaggerate. They had a plant in the audience, first of all, because whoever asked that question was like, Mr. Mayor, it seems like you just can't get any credit. Homicides are down, and we've got a 20% drop, and it's worse in other cities. And he was like, it's right. And somebody asked him about fake news. Do we have that? No? So, Kim, they tried to also blame it on the media for exaggerating the reports. But how do you exaggerate 70 people getting shot in one weekend?
You don't. You can't.
And can you, like, you know, I always be thinking when they say just one life, if it just says just one life, well, all of these people died and a lot of people got shot. And it seems like it's not a priority. And then they tried to say that Lollapalooza didn't affect that. How many people got shot at Lollapalooza? Was it like, I feel like it was a Negro-free downtown. Understand it.
Yeah.
Like, Negroes, if you do not look like Buffy and Becky, if you did not come from the suburbs, y'all know, y'all go kill yourselves in the neighborhood, but we won't have you messing with these good, clean white teenagers from the suburbs.
It goes without even saying, definitely. They're always going to be protected. And when they kept showing the emergency rooms and talking about how they had to go on bypass, etc., they never mentioned that almost 150 of those visits were people from Lala.
You know what, Kim? And when they said Cook County is locked down, no hospital locked down, it was because and you know what? I just assumed it was because of all the shootings.
Yeah.
Now,
that was the visual.
Yes.
They showed us crying outside.
Oh, Jesus, my baby.
Right.
What about the mom who was like, get him some Narcan, just get him some Narcan. We're used to Becky, you know, if you just roll her over and just hit her with the Narcan, she'll be okay. Becky, we told you last time you went to Lollapalooza, because you know that they stacked up on all of the save yourself from overdose drugs. They did everything. They probably carried people to the hospital. Y'all, when do black people get some self-respect? Some dignity, some gumption about yourself. Right. When you pull up your pants, hike up and say the cavalry ain't coming. I got one more thing. So, you know, the mayor was talking about the difference between the podium and the pulpit. And it seems like they went to the go-to preachers again. Now, you got the preacher that told us that Forrest Claypool was a good person, even though he was dismissed for lying. Standing on stage, ready to tell us again. We had Brother Lance Williams in here telling us about the role that these people played in creating the violence that we live with now. Can you imagine the irony of Monday having a guy who tells us that there was a person who participated in the creation of the violence in our community? And can you imagine him standing on stage with a bow tie right next to the mayor again? It's like, y'all, do y'all understand?
Teflon. I mean, that we're talking about 1960s, and he has withstood federal investigations. He was under federal investigation.
But you know, that's when you know it. Remember, they said Jeff and whatchamajigga went away. People who got the money didn't go to jail.
Didn't go to jail.
Now, I'm not suggesting, because I don't get it twisted, I'm never calling for the feds to do nothing. But I am saying that black folks, if you say that the genesis of the state of affairs and violence that we have, one of the architects of that is still on stage. Now, let's say it was completely innocent. Let's say the experiment went awry and they didn't know. Are you really still part of the solution? Have we ever acknowledged your part in the creation of the problem?
Right. Can you be part of the solution?
Right. And it's like, so when you think about it, there's a need for the violence because there's got to be somebody who says, Mr. Mayor, I could do it. I could do it. And if your history says you started it, how is it in 2018, if this happened in 1960, in 2018, we still ain't figured that out?
Right.
And that's part of the reason we can't never get past stuff, because we always let the people in the room in the plan who was part of the plan to take you down in the first place.
But you say we let them in the room. We let them in the room, but isn't it kind of self-serving? I mean, the mayor knows that history too.
Right, well, he hopes that we don't remember. But remember I told you, Kim, they rely on socially awkward moments, right? Socially awkward moments. Who's going to say to the Reverend, hey, man, We knew you was down with the Stones. Look, we'll talk about it when we come back. We got a guest activist. We'll talk to her when we come back after traffic and the weather. So think about it. So you sat right here on Monday and had somebody tell you that the creators of the violence, the manufacturers of the violence, the names of them, and so when you then see that person at every press conference for every mayor since then, whenever they need to pull somebody off the shelf, even to 2018, then you gotta say, y'all, we're doing it to you, doing it to ourselves. So when we say, hey, and we give them all these accolades and pretend like we don't know the history, you're celebrating their plot against you. Right? And what they do is they trick every generation. They find some young people and they trick them in. And I think that we have a habit of doing that, right? We have a habit of, so every time we have a movement, there are certain people that show and they say, let's go, we've got a plan, and they go the other way. And it happens at every time. But we keep letting them back in. Hi, how are you today?
This is Eva Lewis.
Eva Lewis, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. So Eva, you're on Facebook Live and YouTube. Yes, I'll come shake your hand. How are you? Welcome.
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
We'll put you right here. You guys got the background in your email on you?
I didn't read it though.
Yeah, sorry. No, hold on.
Todd.
I know it's my fault because I just looked back.
You from Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
What part?
South Shore.
Okay. The I Project is what?
And student-led activism through our initiative, rooted in intersectionality.
Did that check and see if that's a better chair for you? Did you seem like that one went down?
Yeah, it was like sinking.
Yeah.
It was sinking?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with that shit. It's better.
Yeah.
It's better.
Move over there. We want you to be comfortable.
So here's some headphones for you that you'll need to hear if we put any callers on. Let me know if the volume is okay.
Okay, so you go to bed.
Oh, what's your choice?
We'll do that here. Instead of
What is, am I just hearing?
You're hearing what's on the air right now.
Oh, okay. Do I have to wear it?
Yeah, preferred when we start talking.
Oh,
you'll
when we
hear
start
it.
talking?
Yeah.
Not right now. I can take it off right now.
Yeah, you can take it off right now. Yeah, I'll tell you when. Okay.
And you're making me pick? No, do not make the man pick a song. That'll be the new bit starting next week.
Purple Rain.
Hey,
Purple Rain.
When we don't have a sponsor next week, that's what we should do. Have the man pick a song.
Yeah, the man.
Force the sponsor back, Maze.
Tamia, what's that song called?
What is it?
It's like, So Into You.
So Into You?
Mm-hmm. That's Tamia.
So Into You.
You familiar with it?
I am. We
Are
can
you?
do that. That's fine.
Want to make it Maze's choice today?
No, we can make it hers.
Okay.
My choice.
Here.
Oh, thank you.
I'm So Into You by Tamia.
Here, pull out the wall. I think I'm good.
I think it's a remix to that too, ain't it?
Okay, let me go get you
I like the
the
Nate
plug.
Long version, but I'm just now discovering. I didn't know that
Let me go get you what you have to read.
Tamia's, you know what, Tamia's got a few good songs that she did not get props for when they were hot. And now it's like, she's got another song that I love to death. I can't think of it.
I just discovered her because this woman named Napalm has a cover of her song.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know it was a cover because I'm young. So when I heard it, I was like, wait, I think this was sampled. Yeah.
Eva, last name one more time?
Lewis, Lewis.
Eva
How
Lewis.
you like Ben?
You know, I'm not a fan of any institution just because of its like nature as an institution.
Yeah.
But I'm also grateful for the Ivy League resources that I get at Penn.
Where'd you go to high school?
Walter Payton College Prep.
Okay. All right.
Walter Payton, what part of the city are you from?
South Shore.
Okay. So you traveled all the way to Walter Payton. You know what? My daughter went to Skinner, and she lived in Beverly. And so, so we used to have to get up. Eventually we had to get a limo service to get her because it was too onerous to get her there. But the distance we have to travel to try and give our kids the education is crazy. But in the resource.
And could you even do extracurricular activities?
Limited.
Yeah, because you be coming home.
Limited. So like sports really wasn't a thing for me. Like that would have been too much for me.
Yeah.
But I did poetry because it was like only once a week. That was the only one that I consistently did. I always did choir though, but that was a class too. So
Right.
I just did everything that came with that after school as well.
We still got time.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it on top of my head like this.
So what is your goal to do after you graduate?
Be better than Rihanna.
Oh, you sing?
Well, yes, but I didn't just mean as a singer. Like she's just everything, you know. Like I don't want to say I want to be Rihanna. I want to surpass.
Yeah.
That. So.
What part of Rihanna? The artist, the business?
Everything. I do sing. I do music. The entrepreneurship, the philanthropist, but also like reclaiming what philanthropy means myself. And I don't know. Like she's a pretty unapologetic.
Mm-hmm.
She uses her platform very well.
She's an influencer.
She really is, and I can only aspire to be as positively influential as she has been to me.
Wow.
Take a moment, y'all. Share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Telling me to look at this? May's intro brought to do some Kim, you plug in it. This what you talking about?
I don't have my little sheet.
She needs her sheet.
He's bringing it.
Pardon me, I'm sorry. Normally I'm a little bit more chipper. I'm having a blah day today.
No, you're good. It's really early.
Not for me.
You should have been here 3 hours ago when it was early.
Hey. I think they are truly something special. Just what my dreams are truly made of. Let's stay together, you and me, girl. There's no one like you around. Ooh, baby, That's your remix?
Huh?
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1698 M. And you know what, y'all? We changing it up a little bit, but it is the choice. Brought to you by Kimberly Agoing. Kim, where'd you get this one today?
You know what? This was just inspired by our in-studio guest, who you're going to be introducing in a second. But it is So Into You by Tania, and it's brought to you by Next Level Health. Next Level Health is one of only 7 insurers partnering with the state in serving Medicaid beneficiaries, participating in the state's new Health Choice Illinois program. That's Next Level Health, a healthier you, a healthier community.
All right, now, let me ask y'all. Now, check this out, y'all. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, but you know how we do at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Sonia, get it right.
Let your booty do that yoga.
Party at the beach down in Cuba.
You are too.
Maze, you missed the intro. You have to say it's time for The Choice brought to you by Next Level Health. You said it's time for The Choice brought to you by Kimberly Agoin.
So you want me to redo it?
You just got to say, just make sure you plug it again because we got to get 2 plugs in. We only got 1.
Okay. You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago 1690. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Hey, y'all. You know how we do at the top of every hour at the 8 o'clock hour. When you hear that song, you know I got to get my stretch on. Now, check this out. Y'all change up my yoga because at the top of the hour on Wednesdays, you know, The Choice is brought to you by Next Level Health. Kim, and you know what? Our guest inspired that choice. Now, when you talk about inspiration, I can't help but be inspired by this young lady who is sitting across from me. Now, this 19-year-old activist and artist from the south side of Chicago, who also went to Walter Payton College Prep, had to get up at 5 o'clock every morning to go to school, and is now an Ivy Leaguer, is here to talk to us about a project that she is of her own. The I Project. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Eva Lewis to the WVON Morning Show. Hey, Eva, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
We're great. So, Eva, talk to us about the I Project. What exactly is this?
Okay, so see what had happened was I went to France. In 2015.
Wait, you went to France? Okay, hold on. Now, I just want y'all to be clear. This is a young black woman. You went to France how long ago?
2015, before my junior year of high school.
Where they do that at?
Well, I actually plugged for everybody. I applied to CIEE and they paid everything. So
we have to find out about that too.
Yeah, CIEE. If you're low income and you have like your application together, like they will pay for you, and they just encourage like global traveling for people who may or may not have the access to that.
How do I get that? Can I get that too?
No, you cannot get that.
What you trying to say? I'm too old?
A little bit.
Oh, dang.
You can go back to high school.
Can I take this gray eye and shave? I think I can
just
pass.
Go back to high school, turn your little diploma in, start over.
That's what I'm going to have to do. So, talk to us, Eva, about the I Project.
Yeah, so I went to France. I came up with this short film, and everybody was like, do something with it. It was about privilege, and because I interviewed everyone on my trip, and I was like, what does it really mean for you to be here? Because some of us paid, some of us did not, and there's that in itself is a binary, right? Like who has money and who doesn't. And so people were like, do something with it. And I didn't know what to do. So I created at the time what was a really bad website called The I Project. And I was just interviewing people, posting interviews, like talking about certain things like in an academic light. And it kind of transformed into something greater as my sociological imagination transformed at the same time.
Excuse me, are you related to Salim Muwakil?
No.
The reason I'm asking is because these words that are coming out of your mouth at 19 are really intimidating, to say the least. No, it's all good. Go ahead.
So like you said before, I went to Peyton. I got up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I kept thinking to myself, like, why did I have to do that? What made me so different from all the kids that I went to school with on the north side of Chicago who could wake up at like 7, eat a whole breakfast, and make it to school on time, where I couldn't even do that. I would have to wait till I got to school to even eat. So, and that's like hours after I've woken up, right? And it was just exhausting. And so within the I Project, I created this thing called the Education Emancipation Campaign as a senior year independent study project. And essentially what we're aiming to do is provide resources to South and West Side elementary schools that don't really have it, because that's the foundation of everything. The premise of this work is that the root of gun violence isn't people not caring about anything. It's not people not having any worth for life, but it's the fact that people are making what they can out of nothing. We've all been given nothing. Like the south side of Chicago was essentially a fish bowl with a lot of fish and one flake of food, and we're all just fighting for that one resource.
Now, how do you come to this realization at age 19?
Right.
Like
Well, I come from the south side of Chicago. My family came up through Mississippi, Alabama, Great Migration. I've had family members involved in gang activity. I've had family members involved in a lot of things. And I just always known that people needed money. It wasn't a recreational activity. Like, everybody needed money. You can't get money if you don't have a good job. You can't get a well-paying job if you don't have a good education. And how are you going to get a good education if you're in CPS, black body, on the south side of Chicago, when they obviously don't care about you? They gave my school Payton $17 million at the same time as they closed 54 schools on the south and west sides of Chicago.
Now, how do you rationalize that, and how do we fix this from your vantage point?
So I can't even say how we fix it, because everyone's got a different approach. But as somebody who's been affected by it, I think that my solution is figuring out how we can create sustainability regardless of what's happening in the government. So how do we be okay regardless of what Rahm Emanuel is doing, or Bruce Rauner, or anybody?
Sound like she's saying it ain't no Calvary.
That's exactly right.
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
So with your program, what exactly do you all do?
What do we do? So basically, we don't do a consistent thing. We're kind of like always working on it. So this is what we're doing. We now have a team. My team is 8 women of color. We're all 20 years old and under. We created the first community needs assessment for the South Shore community. It's demographically inclusive, and it's accessible to people who might not have a higher education. So we broke the questions down so that it's easy for anybody to do, and it'll get us the information that we need.
Okay.
A community needs assessment has not been done on the South Shore community itself. Like, it's always South Shore included in something else.
Okay.
And even within that data pool, it's not accessible to folks who might live in the high-rise apartments, who are of low income, et cetera. And so that's what we've done. So this Friday, we are blessed to have been sponsored by a bunch of people, including Lyft, Chicago Public Schools, the Obama Foundation, to do a day of action. We're going to mobilize over 100 volunteers to canvass the South Shore neighborhood in hopes that we can revitalize and de-gentrify the neighborhood.
So, look, y'all, because you know what? We got this. I'm tremendously impressed. And what tremendously impresses me is that we have a young lady from the south side of Chicago, that's not the narrative that we hear, that is taking an active role and responsibility in fixing what's going on in our community. The concept that they are doing, what did you call it, a comprehensive needs assessment? What was
community needs assessment.
A community needs assessment. You know how I always ask y'all about the list? The list. What do you want? Right. What do you need? What we say, what are the biggest issues impacting black people? Mm-hmm. And then y'all say, we want world peace. We want the end poverty in the world. But what are the tangible things? Can you tell me, Eva, what you saw on that, or it's not complete yet?
It's not complete, but we did our first run because we have a partnership with Boucher, who we've been working with for the last year, Boucher Elementary on 73rd and Jeffrey. Okay. So we did a first run of the assessment with them. We got an immediate return we got like 40 to 50 back immediately.
And what was the need?
So
what were they needing?
People were like, jobs. People were like, we need employment, which was really important. And also, like, we haven't really gone through that data yet, but the way the community needs assessment is laid up, we don't ask like, do you need this, but we kind of ask people what they know, and then we take like what they don't know, and then we leave that big question that's like, what do you think South Shore should look like? And people are like, we just need jobs and we need better schools. Like, I need, like, someone, like a child filled it out, was like, I need somewhere to go after school. I don't have anything to do after school.
How is that possible in a city where we are building? I mean, come on, man, we just spent $10 million.
I can tell you how it's possible.
How is it possible? Oh, tell me, sis.
Because, first of all, there's a lot of parameters in CPS. Did you know corporations cannot donate to Chicago Public Schools, and Chicago Public Schools can only buy their products from certain vendors?
Yes, but you know that because that keeps the money in the family.
Yes,
right?
It keeps the money in the family, but it doesn't help the students. If you have a school like Boucher has 3 buildings. They're all old. One of them they can't even use no more because it's so old. One of them is being renovated right now because it's so old. And then the modular building was not even meant to be a permanent structure, but it's been there for about 40 years. It's literally made out of metal. It's not meant to stay there. So if you have a school like this where the roof is coming down all the time, you don't have any parents that have those $1 million plugs like Payton might, and They're spending all of their money on the building. They can't spend their money on computers. They can't spend their money on whiteboards and projectors and new books.
So what happens when you get the community needs assessment back and people say what they need? How does that translate into actual resources?
So we talked to the community about it. We have that talk back, but then that information is going to tell us what we need in order to help these students. Because we can fix everything in the classroom. We can get them their books and their projectors and everything, but if they're not sustainable at home, then that's not going to do anything. So that we're going to create a direct action to really tackle what's keeping these kids from at-home sustainability so that they can actually be educationally sustainable.
So, Eva, let me ask you this, because, yesterday our wonderful mayor had a press conference with why you roll your eyes? Is that universal in this studio? But he basically said, in my estimation, that black kids don't have morals or home training. What?
He said that.
The press conference. Our fault. We are not acting right.
What's
we need
wrong?
To change our attitude.
What's wrong with our young people that they're killing each other?
They're killing each other? First of all, when we had gangs at first in Chicago, we were not out here killing each other. We were like it was just a little economic trade. You did not kill anybody that you knew. Also, you did not do that work in your neighborhood. You went outside of your neighborhood to do that work. The city set us up for failure when they took all the leaders. They might have been leaders that were selling drugs, but they were also our neighborhood representation, and they were the people that were role models for us. They took them away from us, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of kids with no experience trying to figure out how they can keep their economic sustainability, and they're doing anything by any means necessary to make that happen. And it just so happens that economic sustainability in the way that they have built it out of nothing involves a lot of murder. Nobody is trying to die, though.
How old are you again?
I know.
So can I tell you that there is a beauty and a sadness in this at the same time? The beauty is that we have conscious young people who are solutions oriented, like Eva, I'm gonna tell you, you have done Walter Payton a service, you have done your neighborhood a service, you have done the black community a service right now. But the tragedy of this all is that this is even something that at 19 you have to think about.
Right.
The fact that you have to have broken that down to that violence and the solution and the understanding of violence, you have taken the time to think it out to that level of detail, tells you that we got some bigger issues. Hey, Mr. Man, don't be telling nobody we ain't got no home training.
And she's a part of the crowd that will not be out there dancing with him.
Exactly. We ain't dancing. We ain't smelling. We don't dance no more.
Yeah.
We don't dance no more. Now, look, y'all.
They want to say that we don't have any home training so that they can dehumanize us and they can say it's our fault. Because when you take the accountability away from them, then that means the solution's on us.
She gets it at 19.
You know what? I'm still trying to get it at 47, and you got it better than me. Look, y'all. I got to stop this now, but we're going to have you back. Eva, what is it, project? The I Project.
So our day of action, which is on Friday, which is mobilizing volunteers, it's open
How?
to anybody.
How?
You can sign up at theiproject.co. THEIPROJECT.co.
Y'all, that is Eva Lewis. Our future is bright, regardless of what they try to tell us. Look, for Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, for Miss Sonia Escobar, the music conductor of the Soul Plane, for Kimberly Agoin, she's an attorney. She got letters in the front and the back. I am the host of the WVON Morning Show, Maze Jackson. And I'm going to tell y'all what, I know they don't like it. We know they don't like it. But even if they don't, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Live from the
Great
WVON newsroom.
Great job. Great job.
What's your email? What's it for? Just to talk more about what you're doing with our project.
Okay, EVA. I just have to ask without multiples. So
Oh, yeah, of course.
See, like,
at theiproject.co.
And you guys are doing this on
Today's action over.
yeah, if you send us a flyer or something or send me some information, we'll announce it again.
Okay, are you about to email me?
I'm about to email you.
Then if you email me, then I can just email you back with the flyer.
Oh, okay.
And can you do me a favor? Can you very quickly, just one more time, talk to the cameras? You're on Facebook and YouTube Live. Tell them tell them the project, how they can sign up for the Day of Action, the website, all that.
So our Day of Action is mobilizing.
Speak up.
Our Day of Action is mobilizing over 100 volunteers to revitalize and de-gentrify the South Shore community. We don't want the South Shore community to become sustainable with all of these resources and a different population in there. We want the resources with us in there, us who's been there since the 90s, the 80s, 70s, wherever. Like, we want to be able to reap what's coming to the south side of Chicago.
And you are working with the Obama Foundation on that, right?
So they have provided resources so that we can receive in-kind support for things like our breakfast, lunch, shirts, the lift code and stuff like that, because we just didn't have access to that. So they sponsored us in that way.
Okay.
Did you all have to say that you were in favor of what's going to happen over there? The foundation?
No.
I mean, are there any expectations at all?
I think the posters that we see all the time are really indicative of how we feel. Like, Obama, yes. Displacement, no. Right?
Got it.
So, not against the Obama Foundation. I am not a proponent of displacement. And so consistently like working towards figuring out like what that might be.
I think that makes sense. I think you can't just say no to it's pissing me off that old one lady is now blocking everything. She's the face of it, and like,
Well,